Okay, so we're going to make a simple dungeon. I've got an event coming up with my players where I will be doing a small dungeon crawl for them, where they're going to be doing mostly getting to the main big area of the dungeon, because that's where the story's going to progress. But I just need a couple rooms and some things for them to work through to get there, and I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to start with this. I believe what I have here is, I believe it's foreground here. Yeah, oh, that's background. This is foreground. So I'm going to do it by adding the foreground and then using the line tool to create a dungeon wall to separate everything out. So to start, let's go back here. We're gonna erase this like this. And like I said, I need this to be simple. These are going to be organized rooms that are carved into this mountain. It's going to end in a more cavernous area surrounding the main drop down into the volcano. This is a volcano called... What happens when I go like that? Oh, I love that. That's great. I haven't used that option before. But this is a volcano that is mostly has been mostly destroyed. No, that's not true. This is a volcano that it isn't really erupting anymore. It's just ash, shooting ash into the sky. And so this ashy volcano will be where they go to find a scroll. There's a scroll here that they need. But I'm going to put the foreground to be a dark, like... let's just search for black here. Yeah, something really black like this. There we go. Oh, that looks like marble or something. That's probably fine, actually. And we're going to make it bigger. Cover this whole thing in it. Don't love that. It's kind of ugly. Not ugly. It's actually pretty, but it's just not what I'm going for. So let's go with straight black. Let's make it a little bit... darken it up a little bit. There we go. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. All right. Now we're going to use subtracting. I said earlier we're going to use adding, but we're going to use subtracting to take out the sections we want to take out for this. So we're going to start over here. Let's go 200 even here. I think that'll work. Let me add a grid. Yeah. Oh, that's... oh, less actually. Let's go 30. No, let's go 20, believe it or not. I want the grid to be pretty stinking big chunks. This is small spaces. So we're gonna go like this. Take that out. Awesome. Then, does this allow me to put in more, like new ones? How's this go? How's this go? Oh, great. And then I can do another one where I go. Awesome. Actually gonna make this little entry area like that. That's beautiful. That's what I want right here. I like this new option. It's kind of reminiscent of some of the older software I had used in the past to make dungeons that were a little less, I don't know, a little less intense on the actual designing of the dungeon part. But with 3 left on that side, this is a little bit lopsided, but that's okay. I'm not going for symmetry here. So these are little small, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That'll be 30 feet long. Then we're gonna break this up this way to wider, a little bit wider of a space. Then I want this to be, this is actually going to break off all the way to the edge as it opens up into the other space. You know what? Let's do something a little different than what I've got here. I'm gonna make this bigger. This is more like a main hall. So what this space is it was once like a forge, I guess you could call it, where they would break down metals and things to build weapons. And they used blacksmiths and stuff here to work in these spaces. So this is like a little closet space here. This is going to be like maybe a different kind of space here. And then this is going to literally run straight into here. This opens up and you go through this area here into the main space that we're going to use, that I have made already, where the main bit of forging and everything happened. And so what the idea that is going to be is that this space is going to be teeming with constructs, like almost not robots per se, but kind of. And these constructs are guarding this place, even though it hasn't been used in a long time. You know, the usual. And that is going to allow my party to come in. They're going to be pretty powerful, pretty strong, the constructs are. And so the idea is for them to be, there to be a space in this front section here where you'll actually have to shut them down. Maybe solve some puzzles to shut them down, you know? So we're going to do that. So I like this. This is almost like it's almost like an octopus, right? With all the little hallways looking like arms around it. But then I'm going to go here to, well, first I want to make the background a color I can be more happy with. We're going to go, oh heavens. We're going to go stone. Great. And obsidian is exactly what I'm going for because, oh, I need it to not be so soft. There we go. Obsidian is what I'm going for because this is, you know, lava stone, basically, this whole mountain. Now that is beautiful, but it looks a little too fancy. So we're going to go with a little bit of gray, lighter. Let's see, how's that look? Yeah, that's better. Oh, I don't like the way that overlapped. So with these textures like this, I don't know how familiar you are, but if you lift your mouse pointer, like lift your finger off and then go back down, you're going to cause it to overlap, like do more, another layer over top of the previous layer you just drew. So this is ruins, so that's kind of what we're going for. Yeah, I like that. So this is interesting. I've only used this one time before. You click, no, you draw, that's right. You draw a line. Yeah, don't love that. That's not what I was hoping for. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to lower the scale by quite a bit. Then I think draw straight nodes. So I think I can, like, boop. How do I do it? I don't remember. Boop. Yeah, that's how. You draw, and you can straighten it out like that. So I'm going to go all the way around the inside of this. or the outside of this. Go around this whole thing here. And this is what makes my hand cramp up when I do this. I think if I hold shift, is it shift? No, control. There we go. That's what I want. Control will give me these guidelines. So that's really nice. And then it actually, even as you're dragging, you'll see it's keeping it on the grid. And that's all based on the grid that you've set. So if you don't like having your grid show up whenever you're in a map, which I do, I use this grid because I can bury it under my assets instead of it being so then I'm gonna hit enter. Boom. Love that. Wonder if I can scale it up while it's, yes, I'm gonna scale it up just a ton, or a tad bit, and then I'd like to darken the color. Boop. Brightness. Darken. There we go. Awesome. Now I'm gonna do more. Bam. But yeah, I like to take the grid out because you can hide your assets that way, or hide the grid under your assets so it looks like the grid was laid first, you know, and the assets get the highlight, basically get featured on top. So I like to do that. So because of that, I do keep my grid on my maps. Some people like to just use the map grid of their tabletop, virtual tabletop. I set that up, but I set it up with it being transparent completely, so that you only you get the snapping and the placement of tokens for your tabletop grid, but the grid you see is the one on the map, so that I can hide it. And what I'll do is I'll make it all black, and I'll take away any of the shadow and stuff so that it doesn't show up on as much on the foreground and only the background. So you'll only see it on that part. All right, that's great. It's not perfect. I mean, you could work really hard to line those up exactly and all that stuff, but I legit am so happy with this. This is exactly what I wanted. It's perfect. So, sorry, my music is too loud. Look at that. Look at that unicorn. It's too loud in my ears. Okay, so yeah, so there you have all of the all my walls set up. So this is like, I could dump this in Roll20 or something like that if I wanted to, and that would create, and I could create a really easily just create a map and add assets in Roll20 and use those assets that way. But I'm going to use the assets that are in Incarnate here to do it. I'm also going to put my grid all the way on the -5 layer. See that? So that anything I drop on here is going to be on top of the grid from now on, always. I do, however, want to create like the opacity here, intensity, none. So this is gone. So now you can see that it kind of disappears a little bit in the black of the foreground. So it's not really, the grid's only visible, only super visible here. And then even then, I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit lighter. So it's just a hint of it. And there it is. So the grid's there. I can use it. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Like, I can count out my space. I can definitely use it to line up my map in Roll20, but it's not the feature of the map. So now I'm going to go to assets, and I'm going to look in here. I don't want any trees. Definitely no trees. But I'm going to start with some rocks. We're going to start with like rubble where things have fallen. You know, little bits of rock have fallen. I like to do that in some of the corners. However, I do want to make them darker. So first of all, I want random stamps, because when I click one, I want it to randomize to another different stamp. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I'm going to go to advanced, I'm going to go to color, and I'm going to go to brightness. I'm going to lower that brightness so that I'm getting dark looking stone like that, right? Yep, that's what I like. Actually, I actually want to do it a little different so it matches the gray of that a little bit. So I'm going to take the saturation down on it. Let's go a little more. That's better. Well, it's still not quite what I'm going for. Definitely not that, right? But let's go here. Let's look at the stone. Let's go down here to color. Huge saturation. Can see it while I do it. You see it out there? Saturation, brightness down. Contrast, not really helpful. Hue. Oh, there you go. Look at that. That's almost got like a brownish gray vibe going. That's going to be a lot better, a lot closer to what I'm going for. And I'm going to start with this one here. That little bit of rubble there. That corner kind of started falling apart maybe. And then we can put a little bit right there. And this is just kind of plopping these down here and there. Boop. Boop. There's a little more down here for some reason. And so this is going to be, this space here is kind of run down. People don't go here anymore. The kind of robots that run the place are dangerous, and so people don't like to come up here. They feel like they're in danger when they do. The scroll was hidden here on purpose because there were guards that they're going after. And so, yeah, so they're not, there's a reason that there's, that this is a dangerous place. It's because they wanted to protect all the forging, or not forging, all the forging of weapons and things. That it was a security for that. And then the same security is now being used to protect the, forge give me anything? Oh, sick. That's not what I want, because those are actually in the other section. So how about if I go dwarf? Because it's going to give me, nope, I'm going to say then stone. See if I get a bunch of stone things. So yeah, they're like, oh, there's protection there. We'll use that to protect the scroll. It's a big, important scroll that it's trapping an undead creature in a lair. And so because of that, this stone needs to be guarded, because we don't want anyone to have access to it until now my party is going to have access to it. So let's put some statue kind of things on the wall. We're not going devils. We're just going to go a little bit like this was a place of respect for the work of the forging of the weapons that were built. How they had a lot of almost a lot of ceremony and pomp and circumstance around how they did everything. I'm going to lock these down. So I'm locking all of the walls so that I won't select them anymore. See, when I click now, they don't show up because I don't want to accidentally move any of that. I'm going to put this on a platform, so I'm going to find that platform, a good little platform option. So like something like this, it's like a pillar, but let's do this one. And then I'm going to put it like this, make it this whole 4 square section. We're going to adjust the color of it. See, I wish it would do the one I already clicked, but that's okay. We're going to adjust the color of it, lower the brightness, change the hue to match the walls a little bit. Right, and then I'm going to go here to the layer, and I'm going to go down until it's behind the statue. There we go. All right, perfect. Now the statue needs to be centered with it a little better. I don't have the best mouse. Oh, there we go. So now it looks a little bit like, actually, I'm going to use my arrow keys to nudge it to where it looks a little more centered to my eyeballs. Again, this kind of junk doesn't matter to my players at all, does it? No, they're going to walk in here and be like, let's see, where's the treasure? What can I kill? What's going on? All right, so I got to think now, how do they disable the robots that they're going to be trying to kill them, right? How do they shut those things down? I probably want them to have to find that system somewhere, so they have to explore a little bit. So I'll probably maybe put it back in this area somewhere, or maybe even holding space to up in here. They can do it, and it'll be locked, and they'll have to find a key. I don't know. We'll figure out a way. But I want them to explore a little and then go on. So it'll be fun for them to do that. So yeah, let's think about. I've got the statue. It's hard to tell what it even is, so that's cool because it looks like an owl almost. But yeah, it's hard to tell what that statue is, which is fine because I don't necessarily need it to be super clear to the players what they're looking at. And so yeah, I'm going to go now and figure out. Now this is where I start to just like explore the assets and come up with ideas. I often start my adventures and my planning with a map. And let's see, there's stuff here that's kind of like jungles or fantasy. I'm not going blood. We're not going sacrificial or cultish in this one. This is just an old forge. We could maybe have some crystals in there somewhere. But I don't need altars, anything like that. I don't want too much like crumbly, just kind of falling apart a little bit. But it was well constructed, right? The dwarves or whoever constructed this, they did a good job. These are windows. What can I use? Let's look here. Let's see. I want it to be something that makes you think, I need to figure out a way to deactivate these monsters that are trying to kill us, these robots. So I'm gonna look for, let me see, maybe there's I don't remember if there's steampunk assets in here, but I'm gonna look for it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there are. So some of this can be cool. I don't want necessarily anything that looks like electricity. Definitely not interested in a toilet. There we go. These kinds of things, like valves and stuff, might be helpful. Tools, wrenches, toolbox. I kind of like the idea of a toolbox. Let's make this like a storage area, and there's definitely a toolbox in there. What else can be in there? There's a pile of tools over in the corner, maybe. I don't know. Is that weird? Is that stupid? I feel like, why would there just be a random pile of tools? Yeah, that's not necessary. So there's some tools over there. No trains. Some valves, a hatch door. I like the steampunk stuff, but I just never really... Is that a lever? A crane? Let's do... broken furnace, luggage, train engine. Man, there's some little detailed things in here, aren't there? Vault. It's kind of cool. Vault doors. Okay. What do we have here? Brass tub. A broken furnace. A stove. A wooden tub. Boilers. Lids. Test tubes. Machinery. Oh, what does this have? Just random little... see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? So if I go over here, I don't have to feel weird about putting something like this in the middle of this room. This is like where all the magic is controlled for these robot or these automaton creatures. Here's another little control panel. We'll move this up this way. I think we need to make them smaller because these are 5-foot squares. This can be big. Like, people can't stand in here. It's too big. And then the controls are going to be over on this wall. And so we're going to put more things like this over here. This looks like a keypad. I don't really necessarily want that. This can work, but I need it to be small too. But we're gonna go like this. Maybe does it like come off of here on this thing. Just building a control center basically out of nothing now. This too, we can... Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's go down. What if I did this, though? What if I put all these things on a table? Is there a table in here? That's a square table. I'd like a rectangle one. Tub. It's got to be something. There's got to be a rectangle table. I mean, maybe I can turn this table into a rectangle. Can I like go like this? Yeah, I can. That's easy peasy. So I'm gonna go like this. I don't like the color of this table. I don't love the changing it to a rectangle like that. But I'm gonna change the color to be a little more like that. Take out some saturation. Like that. That's kind of nice, I think. Simple. Again, I just care about some of this stuff for myself. My players could not be bothered. Could not be bothered. So there's a table there. This big giant thing does something. Now I'm thinking maybe, perhaps, we have something that kind of runs through the floor, like magical somehow, that like this lightning maybe or something that just runs through the floor. And so I'm gonna put that down low, and that powers the magic of this. Powers these. There we go. Look, it's underneath all that stuff, and we're gonna put extra in here because I want this to be randomized. We're gonna put kind of extra in here because I want this to feel. Actually, I think that's a little too intense. So we're going to do that. I'm going to try to select this other version and put it not as intense. There we go. So I want to get the idea that the floor is the obsidian in this floor is like a conduit for this power that's keeping these automatons powered. So we're going to run this through this whole space is what we're going to do. And this guy's going to go like this. He's going to go all the way through here like that. We're going to take this, run it out to here like it's... So like we want this to power. This power to run all the way through to where anywhere where one of these automatons is, they're getting energy from this energy that's shooting up from the floor that is it's almost like in Minecraft when you've got your in Minecraft when you have your what do you call it, your redstone, but this is blue lightning. And there you go. We're gonna do a smaller, we're gonna do this. It's gonna run through here like that. Look at that, it shoots up into the doorways, which is perfect. Shrink that down. That's actually going to go up in here. This is going to go across this way. This one, we're going to run through this way and then shrink it down a little bit. And then we're going to copy it. We're going to rotate it so it looks a little different by being kind of rotated differently, and that's going to run into that room. Great. And then we're going to have some more that runs down into this room from here. Yeah. And then straight down into here like this, with a little bit shooting from up there still like this. Yeah. And then it's not, well, it is going to go in here because there's going to be some back in here as well that are powered by it. So now I can just kind of willy-nilly, because it kind of needs to feel a little bit random, right? Like, oops. You want it to feel kind of random because that's how this stuff's going to spread. Awesome. I really like this idea. This is cool. This turned out pretty fun. Yes, it was my idea, but I didn't know I was going to do it when I started. So it's very fun. Awesome. Okay. So I want all this to be connected from the middle here somehow. So we can even do this and rotate it so where we have some like interweaving. It's a lot of energy here. Now this energy isn't going to hurt the players from down inside the... down inside here. It's the idea is not that it's gonna like electrocute them or anything. They're gonna be able to tell that that energy is just being controlled from one place. It's the source. And what I'm gonna do too is I'm gonna make this start to get a little more intense down this way so that it becomes obvious that it is being powered in this direction. And it's going to get weaker the further out it goes, right? So we're going to go bam. And this is going to be like 30. And then this out here, we're going to go down to like 24. Way out here is going to go down. So this one's going to be a little more intense as well. So it's obviously more powerful as you come down. And then this one is even more. Awesome. And there's going to be a lock on this door. They're not going to be able to get in here easily. But cool. So the energy just kind of shoots through all these spaces, giving power to the automatons that are guarding the place. Just kind of like, almost like a train that runs on magnetism or power in the rails. Like they just like, the power shoots up and strengthens them as they... I need some smaller ones here so that the color is more. There we go. Awesome. All right, so let's see what we got so far. That's great. I'm going to save this. I've done a lot. Cloud Peak Dungeon leading up to Cloud Peak where the ash... Oh, that's the other thing, is there's going to be a lot of ash and stuff because like billowing through here. So let's do that. Well, let's add the assets first, and then we'll add that. So let's add... We got the energy. We've got the source of all that. Now I want to add spaces for storage. I'm going to actually put some benches in here. That's massive. There we go. We're going to put a bench here. Also want to make it fully big, and I'm going to raise it up to like top layer here. Put a bench there. Put a bench there. Some wooden benches, I know. This is a stone place, but we're going to put a bench here that's facing this bench. Because it's like a common area, right? They're just hanging out, chit-chatting, maybe, in this main lobby type area. Yeah. And then we'll go back and we'll add Art Deco. I don't want like a wall thing. Doors. I'm gonna put this door here. We're gonna make it smaller. Like that. Can I let's see. I wonder if I can make this where I can fatten it up a little bit. I don't know. I want to make it thicker, but it may not let me. It doesn't look like that particular asset wants to do that, so. I'll just do this. I'll do it right here. It's good enough. Maybe I'll put some like stone, like cap sort of things on the ends of it to make it look a little nicer. It's an easy fix to make the door look intentional, like it's supposed to be there. I wonder if I can make this metal wall thing more of a gray color. Let's try. So right, we're gonna make it a little bigger. And then we're not that much bigger. We're gonna make it about that big, and we're gonna do some saturation or some hue stuff on it. Boo, 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 boo. Maybe more like that. Some saturation down to give it a gray, brightness down to make it a darker gray, and then we can do this to it. And then that gives that door, see, that gives that door a more like actually built-in look. Also, when I do a freestanding edit like that of the size, I don't try to do the other one. I just copy and paste so they are the same size. But yeah, this will be open. This will be able to be opened by the players. It's locked. We're going to make it a way to open it somewhere else in the building. Maybe you have to go over here to open it. How? Let's think. A valve. I like the valves in this. Let's use it. So we're going to go to this. We're going to find one of these valves that I like that's going to just be in the floor. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this valve and set it there for now. That's definitely not what it's going to be like. In fact, it's definitely too big. I'm also going to, then I'm going to take and copy this big thing here. And this is going to be sitting in here like that. The valve, I've got to raise the layer of the valve here. And I need to definitely make it where it's not as transparent. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the hue that I did with the other one. Saturation way down, brightness way down, contrast way up. And I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to combine it with this, make this a group. And then when I select it, it'll select as one and I can move it around as one. And let's do this. Let's put it right here like this at the end of this room. And this will just be heavily guarded, we'll say. Not locked, but heavily guarded. This valve. And look, some power's running right to it, which makes me feel awesome, like it's going to also run to that, which is sick. Okay. So there you go. Easy. I'm going to put some of this randomness in here as well. These are massive. Let's see, can I put, I don't want it that small. Let's see, like that. Again, it's going to super transparent. Put one there, and then we're going to rotate one. So like on here, watch this, I can just go 180, rotate it that way. And it can be here. Oh wait, what did I just do? Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is gonna, actually let's do this. Chunk. Chunk. Into the valve. And then I'm gonna take more of this lightning. I'm going to make it a little bit different color. I'm going to put it inside of this. And I'm going to change the color of it a little bit to be like it's being altered a little by this tube, the color of the glass in this tube. So let's go. Let's put this Yeah, there we go. And then we're gonna take all the lightnings. Oh, I gotta move them. Move this. All these lightnings. Oops, what did I just do? I think I just did 3 of them. All these lightnings are gonna go brightness down. Oops, I didn't select this one. Let's go saturation down, brightness down, and then this, and then I want to copy them. And this is gonna go back on here like this. And we're gonna paste here. And we're gonna flip it around like this. We're gonna take this big guy and we're gonna move him up a layer so it still looks, there we go. How's that? Yeah, that's cool. Those valves, the 2-liter bottles of soda are somehow gathering energy from the floor and connecting to this valve. Sure, why not? It's magic. Ooh, I don't like this. I don't like these at all. So let's not do that. Okay, so that's the control space. That'll unlock this door. This will deactivate all this electricity. So what I'd like to do is make a version of this with all the electricity gone, and then whenever they do that, I'll like delete this map off the screen, and it'll show the other map, and it'll be cool. It'll be like, what'd you do? Cool. So I got a little more that I need to play with, but I think this is going to be the end of part 1 for this, as I think I need to step away for a little bit, but to do some other stuff. But there we have it so far. It's coming together. I have until the 31st of this month, so I have another 15 days or so before this has to be done. So we'll do another one of these in just a little while. But anyway, saved for now. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed, and you can make something cool for yourself.